The hype around Tatsuki Fujimoto is unreal right now, and it's the perfect time to binge all of his works now that there are so many people talking about them and the fanbase just keeps growing larger and larger, so do yourself a favor, jump into it. My personal biggest recommendations, in addition to the obvious Chainsaw Man, are the Look Back one-shot and the 8 volumes of madness that is Fire Punch. And if you want to know a little bit about all of his works, I made a few videos recently that'll help you out with that. But what if you're not really into manga that much? You're more of an anime person. In case there's a single person like that watching this, good news, this is well known at this point, but a few months back Manabu Otsuka, the CEO of MAPPA, the studio that is currently animating Chainsaw Man, said that he has a desire to animate all of Fujimoto's works with MAPPA. So my, I'd say, reasonable prediction is that this will probably become a reality somewhere in the future, because I hardly think Fujimoto or anyone involved in this kind of decision making would be opposed to the idea. So let's talk about what an anime adaptation might entail for my current favorite Fujimoto work, Fire Punch. Fire Punch is by far the most... how can I be sensitive about this? Absolutely fucking ballistic head-ass cum blaster, insane story this dude has made thus far, and for that reason I can see how people might feel a bit iffy about an anime adaptation for it. What if it's simply too much? It's genuinely a huge question mark to me as to how this managed to get serialized in a shonen magazine instead of a seinen one. When comparing it to other shonen works, it is incredibly brutal, disturbing, and simply adult. But I think the main thing that makes it sincerely enjoyable and hilarious even is that it is way too disturbing, brutal, and adult. To the point where it's near impossible to take the fucked up aspects seriously to an extent, just like Chainsaw Man. But it's still filled with beautiful moments where the story slows down and manages to bring forth strong emotion and potentially even existentialism in the reader. Again, just like Chainsaw Man, albeit I personally consider Fire Punch a more powerful journey emotionally. There's a fairly popular take going around about a Fire Punch anime adaptation, and that is, it would be perfect as a movie. Mostly due to how big of a plot point movies are in the story and the fact that much of the manga is about the character Togata directing a movie about Fire Punch guy. It would be an extremely satisfying full circle, and without spoiling the ending, the final chapters of this manga felt tailor-made for a movie theater experience. The only glaring issue with this would obviously be the time restraint of a movie. Is there enough time to cover all 8 volumes faithfully in a maximum of 2.5 hours? I honestly don't know. This is something you'd have to ask an actual filmmaker or film student about to see what they think. I, as a D-tier YouTuber, have little to no understanding of how manga pacing converts to animation. Fujimoto is well known for his insanely fast pace that flows smoothly in manga form, but anime tends to be slower by default. Just compare your first read of Chainsaw Man Chapter 1 to Episode 1 of the show. To me, it felt heaps slower, not only in time obviously, but the entire feel of it was more subdued, which I appreciated since this gave me more time to take everything in and understand, for example, Denji a lot better. Picked up a lot more nuance, essentially. I do think turning Fire Punch into a movie would be perfect in theory for the reasons I mentioned before, but I don't think taking the risk of missing out on the nuance and emotion that makes it so great simply due to the novelty of making a movie about something that uses movies as a plot point is necessarily worth it. With a minimum of 12 episodes, there'd be plenty of time to explore everything this masterpiece has to offer and make a faithful adaptation. And regardless of what form it hopefully ends up taking in the future, all I want from an adaptation is to capture the horrible and beautiful essence of Fire Punch that makes it so memorable. I know I'm talking in very vague terms and that may annoy some people, but I know people who haven't read it are going to watch this, so I don't want to spoil shit for y'all. I can't make a video like this without saying something about the sound design, so hopefully they put Kensuke Ushio on it. He's making the soundtrack for Chainsaw Man, and while the first episode was playing it fairly safe, this crazy son of a bitch did the score for Devilman Crybaby, so there's hella potential there. In terms of the actual animation, we already know it'll more than likely be made by MAPPA, and that's safe as hell, honestly. I doubt a lot could go wrong there, so I don't have much to comment on in terms of that. I think that's all I really have to say for now though, without trying to force this one to be 8 minutes and just wasting your time. Leave your thoughts in the comments, I'd love to see your discussions. Thanks for watching this video, I do hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. and peace.